Huh? How are you, Karen?
I'm well. How are you, Mike?
Fantastic.
On Monday, you talked about doing your due diligence regarding trades. I'm wondering, were you close to making it?
What did I say on Monday? Because I forgot.
I said you were going to do your due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, were you close to making any deals, and is there any measure of disappointment?
Well, first, I would say that deals are like being pregnant. You either are or you aren't. There's no like it's either a deal or it's not. So I don't know how close you can be. I know that everyone worked hard and that we investigated and looked in and made phone calls and what personnel departments do. And in the end, we decided that this was what we were going to do and decided to move forward with our preparation. Tampa, excellent football team, coming off a bye. A lot of really good veterans that have played at a high level for a lot of years, and a really, really competitive quarterback who's never out of it. So, that's where our focus is. I know that there's a lot of action and a lot of talk, and again, it's kind of where we're at.
Mike, do you think it's difficult at all for the organization to sort of adhere to its plan when you guys are performing the way you're performing right now, at the top of the division, at the top of the conference, just to be a little bit more aggressive and try to capitalize on what's happening now?
No, I never really looked at it that way. I think we're trying to build a program, the same thing that we said when we got here. And I think that's part of building a program, is finding ways to win and building a team and figuring out where the pieces are that we can continue to add that when it makes sense. And so I don't think this is a negative. I don't think this is just where we're at. And, I know they worked extremely hard to make calls and have conversations. And in the end, we didn't do anything.
Keyshawn's injury, is that a situation where you just like to slot in Kyle Williams, or could Pop get more snaps as well?
Well, I think that if you know anything about the group, which I know that you guys do, there's a lot of interchangeable parts. They play at different positions. They're in different spots. And that's not easy. That's not. Going from the Z in this personnel group to the X. And so I give those guys a lot of credit. I give Todd a lot of credit for being able to teach it in a manner that allows them to get lined up. And so, that group, they'll all play. They'll all contribute. We'll see where Keyshawn is at the end of the week, but he won't be out there today. And Ellis won't be out there, and Ramondre won't be out there today. So give other guys opportunities.
Mike, when it comes to Stephon Diggs, how much has he helped change the culture that you wanted to change in the company?
Well, I appreciate everything he does. I appreciate his leadership, his communication. It's easy to talk to. I've said that before. Nothing's forced. Nothing's, it's like very easy conversations. It's been in here a lot. Again, 41 guys lifted yesterday on a day off. Came into the building, lifted, which I thought is a really positive thing at this time of the year. And we talked to them about the season's really just getting started right now.
Mike, what challenges does Todd Bowles' defense present? How much has it evolved over the course of time?
Well, I'm going to give Todd credit, but obviously the credit goes to the players. They've got veteran players that play physical. Two really aggressive corners. Obviously the safeties, playmakers with Winfield. But up front, Vita and Reddick and Diaby. Levante David's been doing it at such a high level. So again, credit to the players. And then what Todd adds is just a lot of pressure, great disguises, bringing multiple players from off the football. It's not just, a linebacker. You could have a corner. You could have a safety. You could have the nickel. And the coverage changes, and you've seen them force a lot of turnovers, especially on third down, when quarterbacks are making quick decisions that they make the wrong decision. So 10 turnovers in the last 4 games, and this will be critical that we take care of the football.
Mike, you've been really clear about your, the long-term vision for the program, is what's most important here. and factored in?
No, winning is the most important thing. Don't put words in my mouth. Winning is the most important thing.
When
So
you guys were
keep
discussing,
going.
when you guys were discussing how to handle the trade deadline, did the fact of how wide open the AFC currently looks like at all factor into your decision making?
For us to sit here and think that anything is wide open and talk about playoffs, like we're focusing on our 10th game in a row. That's what we're focused on, is how do we get prepared on Wednesday? How do we get our bodies back? How do we get mentally prepared, physically prepared to go on the road to a place that is hard to play? And that's where our focus is. It's not trying to predict the future or saying, well, it's wide open. I mean, we're just going to keep focusing on what's in front of us, and that's what those conversations are about.
Mike, about the about the Buccaneers offense, what is it about their scheme that really challenges you? And sorry, is
There's
there
a lot of stuff before the snap, we'll have to be great with. Just the motions and the shifts, and again, give them credit. They've got guys going in different spots and jet motions and fly motions, getting guys open, because defenses are having issues with their eyes and they're looking at this tight end and the other one's releasing and he's wide open, and Baker can extend plays or even manufacture the keepers to both sides. It's not like he's just moving the pocket one direction. If you don't give it a clean look, if you give him a clean look, he's going to be able to function extremely well. And and then they've got backs that can really hurt you. It's downtown to get it to one of these backs, and then it's an open field tackle drill. And they've created X plays that way, and they're hard to tackle.
their injury situation? Does that make it a little more difficult to prepare for them this week?
I mean, I would imagine we're planning on. Other than I would say probably Mike Evans, but I think that the plays have remained consistent, and we'll just have to continue to prepare as everybody's going to be there.
Mike, Demario Douglas said after the game that this season has been a trust the process kind of mentality for him, just with his lack of snaps at the beginning to now getting some more. Just what have you seen from him as the season has gone on that has allowed him to kind of succeed in these past few games the way he has?
Same positive attitude every day, same workman-like attitude, infectious energy that everybody loves being around him, being ready for his opportunity, not knowing which way the game's going to go and how those snaps are going to unfold, and then just being ready to play multiple positions and do multiple things. And it's just a great example of being ready to go.
When you watch that film, what are you seeing from him in terms of being a default threat?
Well, he's getting, anytime, you can get a player in there in a slot that can, work vertical, can track the ball. Again, when I think Drake looks for him when he extends, down the field. So those are all important things. He's been reliable. He's created separation.
Mike, on defense, I've noticed that when the stop is being made, your players, sometimes all of them, will rush to the spot. You guys have been talking about swarming the football as one of the key things the coaches want to do. So I'm just wondering, why is it so important for you to build your defensive identity around that?
Well, the athletes in this league are really good, and every team has them. And sometimes people miss tackles or their space plays. Sometimes teams try to create numbers out on the perimeter. For example, the second play of the game, maybe, first play of the game, I guess. I don't know, maybe a second, can't remember. And Milt's running out there, and the linebackers are triggering, and Milt's running down the line. And, we talk about making them earn it. That's a defensive lineman hitting a running back for a 2-yard gain. So I would say that they earned all those 2 yards last week. And that'll be critical this week. You've seen different players, whether that's Harold, Milt, Christian, Tonga, KC, all those guys that play along the front, going to extend and help us out on the perimeter, because, sometimes those are tough tackles. So that's what we want to, that's how we want to play defense. And it starts with that. And then we look at the technique, and then we look at the scheme.
How much is the scheme? How much is the physical state of the team started to creep to the forefront of your mind?
Well, I mean, I think a little bit. I think a little bit. I think it has to. We just have to get them ready. We have to get them energized to be able to match Tampa's energy coming off a few days off. And I'm confident that by the time Sunday's here, we'll be able to do that.
And then just sort of managing, as you've mentioned a couple times, veteran guys who have had 10 weeks in a row plus training camp, short week next week. Is this more and more measuring along with your training staff, nutrition staff, what these guys need?
Well, we've had extensive talks about what we think each guy needs and what we think the team needs. So we'll try to do that, but that's, fairly accurate. Chris, you want to last one?
What appealed to you guys about Rice?
Good size, good size. I think he's shown the ability to learn quickly. I think that was something that's important at this time of year, being able to get a guy in here, that can help us at multiple spots if something happens, start on the practice squad, and then everybody has to prepare like a starter. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.